Warrior wasn't really known as an exemplary case when it comes to support builds, and it still isn't, because by going the most logical route to turn your warrior into a support warrior, you end up with something that doesn't perform at a respectable level. However, through sniffing paint directly off of walls in New Kaineng and bothering my sleep paralysis demon, I managed to find alternative solution. The most effective support warrior is Core Warrior with Defense 122, Discipline 233 and Tactics 232. You may feel tempted to play Tactics Discipline Spellbreaker, but remember, running Defense Discipline is more important for your win rate than having an elite spec. And by the way, staff was literally just changed, so it scales better with healing power and is less oppressive as a beat stick for side noders, which makes playing Staff Spellbreaker literally worse in every possible way. All nerfs in place make it weaker, while compensation buffs to level 2 and 3 core bursts only affect Core War and Berserker. Henceforth, you can already guess what will keep using Staff after this patch. Let's get onto the build itself. Avatar Amulet is a no-brainer, and neither are Staff, Mace Warhorn and me. For runes, I recommend Rune of the Druid, as it gives you the most killing power with addition of supplementary vitality. However, unlocking some runes costs gold. If you don't want to feed capitalistic corporate machine, Rune of the Monk will suffice instead. For sigils, I recommend Transference and Cleansing, one of each in both weapon sets. And for Relic, of course, Antitoxin. Some may put their trust in Relic of the Trooper, however that only works on shouts, and to make it more efficient, you need to equip more shouts. Antitoxin, however, works on everything, shout or not. Warhorn skills? Both remove conditions. Your Brawler's Recovery? Checked. Cleansing Ire? Checked. Sigils of Cleansing? Work as well. That funny thing that removes Immobilize? Now your every movement skill is a potential Conti cleanse. And that cooldown you're certainly worrying about? That's only for affecting teammates, counted separately for each teammate. Shouts also have cooldowns, and all of them are longer than 10 seconds. All things considered, swapping Trooper to Antitoxin won't noticeably impact your ability to keep your teammates alive, but will allow you to make a fool out of every bugger trying to pressure you with conditions. Utility skills, we don't need more self-cleanse than we already have, and we can already refill our health bar in a matter of seconds. Therefore, Universal Panic Button in form of Defiant Stance is considerably more beneficial in broadest sense, as you can use it for your own self-preservation or to perform poor man's version of Mesmer's Invulnerable Revive. Stomp is a short cooldown stun break, a movement skill and only CC in Warrior's arsenal that can clear the point of both standing and orthogradically challenged opponents. Take it. Shake It Off is the singular skill that's worth taking in every warrior build ever, and Battle Standard can reset a fight back to neutral or integrate the downed enemy into the bloody ground, preventing enemy rally. All that leaves us with one empty slot, that ultimately comes down to personal preference. You may equip for Great Justice for additional healing and might generation, you may equip Endure Pain or Balanced Stance for personal survivability, Banner of Defense or Tactics if you have feeling either of those will benefit your team the most, or you can be weird like me. I find Fear Me the most fun option that can be slotted here. It is still a shout, henceforth it heals, but it is also an unblockable crowd control, which hits in a large area around you, and can be used mid-casting of your other skills, to cover a revive or your elite skill's casting animation. With a pull, a launch, a fear and a stun, only thing stopping you from becoming the ultimate Tard Wrangler is inability to shove your own teammates around. But I digress. What works best for you is what you should go for, even if that's Bull's Charge or something. The important part for all of us is Warrior has a support build for PvP, and that is a Platinum rated one. Now, for people who want some extra tips on running this in Ranked. Firstly, have a backup damage or teamfight build in case someone else also plays support and doesn't respond to reason. In most cases, running 2 supports in one team will put you at a disadvantage. I don't have many build guides yet, but whatever I have is in the description, you're welcome. Another simple tip is that Warhorn 4th skill Charge grants a little bit of quickness, which you can use to speed up casting of Battle Standard, to outpace invulnerable or otherwise uninterruptible enemies trying to stomp your allies or revive theirs, especially important against Mesmers and their bloody distortion. Next in line, your adrenaline economy is your key to success. Your path to victory is literally named exactly that, so there is no place for mistake over here. You only need to fuel it appropriately. Surprisingly or unsurprisingly, that is simply a task than you may imagine. Shield Master grants you adrenaline for blocking attacks, and Cleansing Ire grants you adrenaline for taking damage. So practically existing in a proximity of your enemy grants you adrenaline so long you stay alive. Further than this, Versatile Rage grants adrenaline on weapon swap. Best Mastery refunds third of all adrenaline spent, and not to mention Valiant Leap and Defiant Roar also generate adrenaline, so long you cast them in presence of a teammate. If you really need more beyond this, you can swap Resilient Roll for Merciless Hammer and farm adrenaline off of every CC. Having enough adrenaline to fuel 3rd level bursts means you can restore about a quarter of everyone's health with a single press of a button roughly every 6 seconds, not to mention all the heals you have. Your healing, in perfect scenario, is absurdly high. Your only downsides are clunky linebreaker animation and complete lack of AoE projectile denial. First cannot be truly remedied, not by us. The other simply requires you to harass enemy gamers if you can, pull them in if you get a chance, even launch them with Stomp and show them what that backup mace is really for. You'll quickly realize that all your teammates in all ranks react more swiftly to a stand opponent than they do to a target marker. And if you physically launch an enemy towards your kill-hungry damage specs, you'll notice an effect similar to throwing a frisbee at a dog daycare. Next tip is more oriented around objectives. Contesting those is a bread and butter of winning. Remember that you might be a support, but you're still a warrior, can self-heal like nobody's business, have block, barrier, CC and literal immortality button. You can and should contest points if no one else can, and sometimes just cause. A kill is 5 points. Having a point for few seconds is also 5 points. Your role as a support is to deny enemy from getting points, either by keeping your teammates alive or by preventing point capture. Unless someone really needs you right now to save them from involuntary prostate exam, try to prioritize contesting objectives over babysitting. Knowing when to contest and when to babysit is going to be your largest knowledge barrier going forward, as it is dependent on which point on what map are we talking about, what's the composition of your and enemy's teams, who's on the point and who's off of it, all in the context of the rank you're currently in. But generally, good starting point is to avoid leaving teammates in outnumbered situations and only prioritize contesting points if that point is held by your team and enemies are actively trying to take it. That's all the theory I can give you without delving into psychology of a crowd and combat logistics. And from here you have everything you need to get a firm grasp of what you're supposed to be doing. You can also copy this build one-to-one with full minstrel gear if you want to support a roaming party in World v World, and I'll leave you with that. Consider having fun, and Crabface out.